PhotoFabPaperFlowers, and welcome to a very merry Makers Weekend. Hello there. Hi, my friends. And we'll just get started, allow some people to join the live here on YouTube. So thank you for coming. Hi. Just gonna pull up your comments. Hopefully, I might need my other glasses. Hi, Jen. Welcome in. So be sure to share the video to your socials, Pinterest. And I am the second tutorial for today. Welcome, friends. Just sharing to my social. Hi, Jeanette. Hey, friends. Feel like out of sorts. Feel like it's been forever. All right. Let's get the party started, right, friends? Merry Makers. Ooh, I need to put my other glasses on. Or make the font larger, right, on my computer. I don't know if that's any better. Oops. Hi there, everyone. Oh, no. I have to get new glasses. I just haven't ordered them. Welcome in, everybody. I'm super excited to be here. As we wait for a few people to join, we are going to be making the mini flower version of template 5, which was my design for this year's exclusive event. If you missed it, Forever Petals by Vee was just live on her YouTube channel about 15 minutes ago. Her live replay is available on her channel. All you need to do is once you access Forever Petals by Vee on YouTube, you just need to click the live tab to see all her live replays. Sorry, I just ate real quick, 15 minutes in between. So welcome in. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday here in the US for those who celebrate. And we're kicking off the Christmas season. It's Black Friday, so why not a very merry Makers Weekend? So we're super excited to collaborate once again for an exclusive event with Forever Petals by Vee and Julie here, myself, at PhotoFabPaperFlowers. So we're super excited you're here. So I already pre-cut everything because my templates, the mini flower versions, are for machine cutting. I do provide you the master files. So it's template 5 and 6 that come in the mini flower bundle. And excuse me, I'm sorry I didn't get to print out my 10-page document for you. It explains how to upload the files to your machine's cutting space. And if you choose to upload the individual files, how you can set it up. And you'll have the sizes in case something happens to your files as well. And all the supplies you need and photos of the finished flowers. Now for today, we're working with template 5 mini flower. And I have my document here, but you don't have to worry about the sizes because I do provide you an SVG or PNG file of the actual project that we're making. So I'm trying to do that for you as well as the master files, because we like to continue to use them to make additional flowers after the event. So, and that's what's we love about paper flowers, the versatility of them. You don't just have to make them one certain way. I'll continue to use them throughout the year or even next year to show you that we can come up with new ideas. This was just my idea at the spur of the moment when we were designing the templates. So we're super excited. Again, don't worry about sizes. It's all in your instruction document, and all you have to do is upload flower number 1 project, and it'll be there in your machine's design space. I use a Cricut Explorer Air 2. I should upgrade. I need to check for a deal on the number 4. So I upload the SVG files, and then you just need to ungroup the project, label it as flower 1, today's date, Friday, November 28th, 2025, and you're already set to cut. Everything's set up for you. I show you images of my Cricut design space in that document. So for most of you who may know, my day job is an instructional designer where I write policies, procedures, communications, and job aids. So it would be a disservice if I didn't provide you something when you purchase my template. Welcome in, Linda. Happy Friday, friends, and happy day 1 of a very merry Makers Weekend. And we have my friend and collaborator, Forever Petals by Vee, here in the comments. So welcome in, my friend. Your flower was beautiful. You gave me a little bit of anxiety with those little foam balls, but it turned out absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to see your flower tomorrow. So today we're making 2 flowers. I pre-inked most of these, so you don't have to watch me inking, and we can get 2 flowers done in the time. The first flower is about 4 inches wide. However, the second one is basically taking part of this flower and just making a smaller flower, so that way you have it for your projects. Now, as far as what I'm making for my project on Sunday, that's still up for debate. I did take a trip to Dollar Tree today and picked up a Merry and Bright sign, so I might do that and decorate it with a 12-inch wood round. Or I do have a client order that I need to do in Christmas colors, so you're going to see that I am using some teal colors just because that is her coloring, so that way I can use some of these flowers in her arrangements. So that might be why. Oh, Ileana, yes, that is exactly why. So yes, I write that documentation all day long, Monday through Friday. And I love to do it. It's just the matter of the time, right? So again, don't worry about sizes. This is just for me. I will type up the dowel rods I used and everything. We'll add it to the document, but I'll also be posting it so you can have it documented as well. So what supplies do we need? My favorite is my SureBonder mini glue gun. So if you saw Forever Petals by Vee during her tutorial, she did use the mini glue gun. I think it's the one I left there from flower camp. It is my favorite for mini flowers. It's super light. You can see she's beat up. But what I like is the stand folds up. Okay. I like to use the 12-inch or 8-inch Gorilla Glue sticks. Just so I don't have to keep inserting the glue. We need our flower shaping mat, which is a 1/4-inch soft foam mat. I am going to be using some ink in my flowers. So the ones I use for all the Christmas flowers during this event is Vintage Photo, Lumberjack Plaid, and Ground Espresso. So you do need some finger dabbers. These are available on Amazon. I get them in a pack of 60 and continue to use them. So you can see they just pop on your finger and you can easily dab. You may want to use some protective gloves, plastic gloves. That was my little homework bag, as you see. So I ink petals while watching TV or on my lunch break at work. We need a piercing scoring tool if you are going to stem it. At this point, I'm not going to stem my flowers just because I'm not sure what project I'm doing. If I stem it in the future, I'll just add another sepal. We need a bone folder, and you can wash these off. I do need to do a thorough cleaning of mine, but this allows us to curl our centers. A slotted quilling tool. We're going to use our embossing stylus. This is from my local Dollar Tree. We need our metal ball stylus. So they come in a set of 4 with a different size diameter at each end. Depending on the size of your flower, most of the time we use the smallest and second to smallest, but with our little bit larger ones, you can go and roll those. So we have them set to the side here. We need a pair of precision scissors. These are just from Dollar Tree, or you can get some fancier ones, which I do have also in my stash. But I tend just to grab the Dollar Tree ones. They work perfectly fine. And we need our dowel rod. So I'm going to be using the 12-inch dowel rod set, or I'm sorry, 6-inch dowel rod set. And they come color coded. So if you do need any paper flower tools, I do offer them in my Etsy shop, along with the template. So you can purchase them at the same time if you want. I do ship out generally Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for your paper flower tool orders, since I do have to go in the office 4 days a week now. But I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I did pre-ink most of them, but I did leave one of each petal one side. And here you can see the color-coded dowel rod set. So thank you again for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Be sure to share out to your socials. Let's a very merry Makers Weekend go. Oh my God, viral this weekend. I cannot talk. It must be all the turkey and stuffing or filling I ate yesterday. And I just ate some again. But we so thank you for hanging out with us here today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is flower 1. And we're using a Very Merry Makers Weekend 2025 Template 5 mini flower. So this is flower 1 of 2. Okay. So I do like to start generally with my sepals, and I like to use 2, but like I mentioned, if I'm going to stem this, I'll just add a 3rd one, so that way I can attach it to the stem. So for my color, I did use Recollections paper for this flower, and the cream I used was from Cardstock Warehouse. Now this bluish green, light teal, I have no idea what pack it is in, and I apologize because I did separate a lot of my Recollections paper by color. The beige can be found in the Roses paper pack, but I did have this from a wedding order. So Cardstock Warehouse, you can go online, and this is Color Plan and Mist color. All of it is 65 pound cardstock. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you got the paper flower kit. It is perfect. You can get all the tools. There's different variations, or you just need a refresh of a tool, or you misplace it. You can purchase them separately as well. So for my sepals, I'm going to use a little bit of ground espresso. Now, normally I use oxide, but I accidentally picked up the ink. Either or is fine. For the darker colors, I like to do the darker brown. And even on green paper, I tend to use either forest moss or one of the browns. So what I start is at the base. Take your finger dabber. Again, you're going to use this till it's totally chewed up, which means it's falling apart. Those little foam pieces are coming off. And I just go down the one side. And we're going to rotate it and go down the right side, all the way around. And this is the quickest way you can ink. Believe me, I can get them done in my lunch hour. Now you're going to start from the base again and come down the opposite side towards the tip. You don't have to be super precise. Don't worry about that. Welcome in, friends. I'm super excited you're here. I am Julie with PhotoFabPaperFlowers. This is your second tutorial for today of a Merry Maker's Weekend. My friend and collaborator Forever Petals by Vee was just live over on her page. Be sure to check out the replay in the Lives tab on her page in case you missed it. Welcome, Maria. You just stumbled upon me. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome in, friends. We know it is very different for us as we both switch and made that hard decision to go from our lives on Facebook to YouTube. It's a lot of getting used to for those of you who follow us through the years, as well as us as your paper florists teachers. So both sides, I did that technique for inking my sepals. For my petals, because this is a lighter blue shade, I did choose to use Vintage Photo. Now you can go crazy on any color that you want to for inking, or maybe you don't want to ink it. Maybe you're using some of the shimmer paper, which would be super gorgeous. Maybe you want to use the Recollections red shimmer or gold or even silver, depending on what project you want to make with these flowers. And it is feeling like winter here in PA today. It is a crazy, like 30-mile-per-hour wind and bitter cold in the 30s. So bundle up, depending where you're at. Some of my friends had snow yesterday here in the western part of Pennsylvania. So it's feeling like Christmas now. Now for our petals, we are using 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 layers between the sepal, center, and petals. I like a full flower. I don't like her to open up at all. So this is petal 1 shape. She comes with, and here's where you can see if you watch Vee's tutorial. Right there's the individual petal that I designed for her. What I then do is take that individual petals and design mini flowers around it. So I chose to do a 4-petal layer as one of our petals. And this is petal number 1 from Template 5 Mini Flower. So because it's a lighter shade, I like to use Vintage Photo. Again, it's going to give it an antique-y look. So continue to use it again. This one's almost done. It's coming out of its tip here. And we do that exact same technique, starting at the base, going down the right side towards the tip. Maria, I'm very sorry about your mama. Sending prayers. Build a snowman. Yeah, I wish I could. We didn't get that much. Hello, Vanessa. We didn't get any. We might get some snowflakes. Maybe Tuesday, some snow. But my friends had a couple of inches in Western PA. Side. So starting at the base towards the tip. Again, you don't see it too much. I'm not precise again. If it gets on inside the petal like you did in Oopsie, that's okay. Flowers are not perfect, just like us. And you generally see it once I start laying it on top of another petal. You can see the outline. And I did that to all 5 layers of petal 1. And you can see here, it got on my petal. Don't worry about it. On both sides. Okay, petal number 2. You can still see that shape, but we added in an extra one. We have 3 of these. Now, I should have left one where I didn't ink. Yep. All right, so again, both sides. I hold the petal in my hand, I start at the base, and I go towards the tip. So just go down that one side even, every petal. Try not to think about it when I do, and then I don't go as fast. If you just brush it along the sides. As you can see, you can just keep rotating it. It goes super fast. Now we're going to come down the opposite side. Start from the center towards the tip. So we're super excited. Hope you can hang out with us all weekend. Jump in, say hi. I know you might be out shopping, spending time with friends and family. We do appreciate your love and support for all of our events. And as small business owners, we super do appreciate your purchasing of our templates throughout the year and not just our exclusive events. So we are grateful, thankful, and blessed that you're in each of our lives. All right, so then we do both sides. You can see it's not super dark. It's enough when you put it against the other petals, you can see that outline. Petal number 3, we have 2 of these. And again, I took my vintage photo along the outer edge. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did this one. Just like we did all the others, I start at the base and go towards the tip. I know. I just had my leftovers literally in the 15 minutes. I did a scoop of each. Now we have, so I live in Pennsylvania Dutch country, which is a lot of the Amish communities surround us, and Pennsylvania Dutch is very similar cooking. So we like meat, potatoes, veggie, and dessert. So we have potato filling, not stuffing here in Berks County where I live. So it's made with potatoes, celery, onion, and so it looks it's so good. And then I had sweet potatoes with the marshmallows, and then I had green bean casserole and a few pieces of turkey, but literally it was like a spoonful of each, quick. You don't want me falling asleep during your live tutorial, do you? And I do have a holiday sweatshirt on because it is burr. My feet are cold, actually. Okay, so we just went around the edge on both sides. So you can see down the one side, and then we come down the opposite. It's enough to give it a little bit of coloring. And again, antique it. You can go darker. With the lighter color, I choose Vintage Photo. Now you'll see in my second flower, I did a darker shade, and I will use Ground Espresso. And then for our 3 center 3s, I did exactly the same thing. Both sides you ink around. Now these are super thin at the base, so be careful. If it does break, if it tears off, and it may during my tutorial, I'll just glue that little flower or petal back on. So don't stress. And we're going to do exactly the same thing we've been doing with all the layers, starting at the base towards the tip. Or you can see I just hold it and go back and forth. So happy Friday and very merry Maker's Weekend. That's a long mouthful to say. Now V asked, did you eat leftovers yet, friends? I prefer the leftovers actually, because everything soaks in. So my question is, so V had asked on her replay, like, what movie did you go to? Who has watched some of the Hallmark-ish Christmas movies on Netflix? I have to admit, the one I really loved was Champagne Problems. That one was a good one. I may or may not have been watching it when I designed this flower and made my sample. Super good. I recommend that one. I think I watched 3 of them so far. Besides our classic regular ones. Oh, That'll be good, Eliana. Dinner tomorrow is perfect. Honestly, I was in the craft studio most of yesterday afternoon right up until dinner time. So thank you to my sister who cooked. And I didn't show up to peel potatoes. All right, so for our two centers, I like to have a rolled center a lot of times with my templates. And to have the option, you can use some other centers. So I do provide 3 centers, 3 petals, and 2 leaves with this design. And actually for template 6 as well. So I stack them. We're going to take our bone folder and gonna curl it. Loved waking up yesterday to catch the parade on TV. Yes, hot coffee and not rushed. Absolutely. I would agree. I laid around all morning. I didn't catch I caught a little bit of the Philadelphia parade since I'm in PA. Emma, you're cooking on Sunday. Oh, that's so nice. See, I love it. All the different traditions and depending on where life has you. I love it. So we just curl it. So it's like you're curling lashes. And you can see it has a little bit of a curl now. So this is your bone folder. A lot of times it's used to crease and card making. Okay. Now we're going to take our slotted quilling tool. So generally when we use the rolled center, these are my 2 tools. So the slotted quilling tool, doesn't matter what color you have. I give you a set of 4. They're all the same. And there's a brighter pink. So it really doesn't matter. I just grab one. And yes, I usually have glue on mine. Oh my gosh, I love that, Femma. Nice. So thread one end. I usually thread the right end because I am right-handed. So we're just going to thread that in. Okay. Then I'm going to roll towards me about 3 or 4 times. Okay. Then I grab it with my opposite hand. So just be careful. Add some glue. Oh, I had a large Dunkin', so I'm super shaky today. Keep rolling it towards you, keeping that bottom right edge aligned. Now I did switch from adding pumpkin to my coffee to peppermint mocha today. Okay, so then I add glue to secure the end. Now while this center was on my Cricut mat, before I peeled off, I did add some vintage photos. So you might see a little bit of coloring. So now we're going to add a little bit more. So I'm just going to open this one up. We're going to open up the red lumberjack plaid. And we're going to open up ground espresso. So this is where the red comes into play, is in our center. So I'm just going to darken it just a little bit with some more vintage photo. I do brush it all over. And I only did one side, so you can see the side I did in ink when it was on the mat is on the inside. Now I'm going to come in, add some ground espresso, and you're mostly going to see the top, so you can leave that on the top part of your center. And again, you don't think about it, you just brush it on. And this is actually one of my favorite parts, is playing with the different inks and for my centers. Now, because it's Christmas, I'm adding a little bit of red. You can use whatever red you have. I love lumberjack plaid. It looks actually gorgeous on pink cardstock. And I have used that multiple times on my pink. So even if you flatten a little, you'll get some on the inside petals. Now Nathan's going to yell at me for my next sentence. We're going to tone down the red. We're going to add some ground espresso over top. So again, if you don't want to ink, you can just keep it a general beige color. You can keep it the same color. I chose to use 2 different colors. And then again, yeah, I did come back with the brown. Now we're going to take our second center, and you're going to add enough glue to make one rotation around. And now I added more, of course. One rotation around means around the bottom here. You're going to go to where your last one ended and overlap slightly, okay? Keeping it the bottom right edge of the line, roll it towards you. Probably the hardest part, keeping it aligned. Add some glue to secure the end. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. You can see, oh, I have to remember with YouTube, you can go in too close. You can see the red, and now we're gonna add more coloring on the outside here. So again, we're gonna go start with our vintage photo, even though it has a very light coloring of it on now. Just brush it all over. This is where I get ink on my fingers. I was good up until probably now. Since I inked with gloves on earlier. My nail lady always laughs at me. She checks my fingers the first thing she does when I go in. We're going to add a little bit of brown. Now I'm going to brush that almost all the way to the base. Again, keep layering, play around to where it is that you like. Now I'm going to add a little bit more red, but I'm going to keep it mostly at the top. Okay, and then we're just going to tone it down. Or blend it in with some darker brown. Again, you have that mixture of color. All right. Again, I could play around with centers all day long, but we don't want to bore you with my center coloring. And again, whatever you choose, this is what I like personally, so I tend to do that a lot, to mix in the colors with my brown. The other option I always love is seedless preserves, which is a purple color. We could add some blue or even teal to the center of these, or even gold. So we're going to remove it from the slotted quilling tool. That easy. So for our sepal, so I always like to start with the sepal. We're going to flip our stack of petals over. This is the smallest to the largest, so we're going to flip them over. And we have our two sepals. So with them stacked, and we have our color-coded dowel rod chart, we're going to take the Julie. It comes in the 12-inch dowel rod set or the 6-inch, but either way, it's a 6-inch dowel rod. It's the one that's not color-coded. As you can see here, it's clear, not color-coded. We call it the Julie after me. It's skinnier than the 1/8-inch dowel rod. And you will get 2 of them in either dowel rod set. So anything you have in your stash that is round and skinnier than 1/8, you can use. And again, I like to think of myself. And I think Linda, you named it as Julie. We went with it. So with them stacked, we're going to place it down. I go at a little bit of an angle just because these are smaller. And you're just going to pinch around with your fingers. And because I'm right-handed, my curve comes in more from the right. Okay, and we're just going to keep making our way around. A little bit larger petal, I will go almost straight down the center. Now I am doing 2 at a time. If you are newer, I highly suggest not stacking 2 petals. Place it down, and you can just pinch around. Yep, Linda, you named her. You wrote the name, and I don't know how you wrote my name on it. I remember that. Pinch around. Squeeze, pinch and roll, as we say here at PhotoFabPaperFlowers. Soothes your soul. And I think, Linda, you came up with that saying as well. Okay, we're going to flip them over so you can see they're rolled up. Flip it over. And we're going just to place that right there. Now we're going to start with our 5 larger petals. Again, when you purchase the template, I have 3 project files. One is the master files with 1 of each petal. One is flower 1, and the third one is flower 2. And then I provide the individual files as well if you chose. And me, I did email them to you today. Okay, so for 5 of them, we're going to use our 1/4 inch. Because these are wider petals, we can go a little bit larger. So this is the olive green color, 1/4 inch. So we have 5 of them, so I'll take 2 of them, stack 2. We're going to place the olive green 1/4 inch dowel rod down in the middle of the petal, pinch it up with your thumb, let go, and roll it between your fingers. And I roll it a few times, and you can see I'm pressing hard. My finger turns red. Pinch and roll. Skills. Well, thank you, friends. Did anybody else watch Champagne Problems on Netflix? I'm sorry if I missed the comment. I love a good sappy movie. Besides, I love horror, but we're going to stack the other 3 petals of petal 1. Place it down in the middle of the petal, pinch up, and roll. Squeezing hard again, squeezing hard. Okay, place it down, pinch up, and roll. Now you can use the 12-inch dowel rods. So if you have the 12-inch, again, green, you can see it's 12 inches. Place it down. I'll just place it up further on the rod or on the petal. Pinch it up and roll. Pinch up and roll. So it works exactly the same way. With the Ultimate Paper Flower Starter Kit, you do get the 6-inch dowel rods and the 12, and basically all the tools that you need, and a few extra. Ah, the Waltons! Oh my God, I've not seen that in forever, Sharon. But Champagne Problems was good. Petal number 2. We have 3 of them. Okay, so I'm going to just take one at a time and we'll walk through it, okay? So this is petal number 2, and we have 3 of them. So for one of these, we're going to take, for the wider petal, we're going to switch to the blue 3/16, and you're going to roll them up, okay? So place it down, pinch up, and roll, okay? Only the larger ones, pinch up and roll. Pinch up, let go, and roll it between your fingers, okay? For the skinnier ones here, we're going to use our purple 1/8 inch. Purple on the tip, 1/8 inch. Place it down, pinch up, and roll. Now these you can definitely, if you want to, go at a little bit of an angle, pinch up and roll. Just be careful again, they're skinny at the base. Okay. Place it down on your stack of petals. For your next one, this is still petal number 2. We're going to still use our blue 3/16. Take your large petals, pinch it up, and roll. So we're going to do all 4 of those. Pinch up and roll. We hope you're loving your flowers so far and the design. I'm excited for you to see, if you didn't purchase the template yet, template 6, which was designed by Vee, which will be making flowers tomorrow, both of us. Now we're going to flip it over. Oh, friends. Okay. Okay, we're back. Can you see me now? Looks good to me. So now we flipped our flower over. So blue 3/16, roll up, flip over, and now we're going to use the purple 1/8. Looks okay now. Oh, it looks like a phone call came in. Pinch up and roll. Okay, flip it back over. And now the large petals will be displaying up, the smaller ones under. Okay. And now for the third one, petal number 2, we're going to take the blue 3/16 and all the petals will be rolled up. Is everybody good? Can you see me now? Hi, Lorena. Welcome in. Now we're going to take our purple 1/8 and pinch and roll. I think we're back. Okay. Awesome. Oh my God. We have like 30 to 35-mile-per-hour wind, so I made sure I was off of Wi-Fi and just 5G. It seems to work better. Yay! I'm here, friends. All right. I think I stopped in time so you didn't miss anything. All right. So now we have petal number 3. We have 2 of these. We're going to take our precision scissors, local Dollar Tree, and we're going to cut in between each petal towards the center. Just don't cut your petals off. They just don't want to connect. You can stick more towards the left side of the opening. Okay. Now we're going to take again the blue 3/16, which is your coastal blue color, for the larger petals. And we're going to roll the larger petals up. So place it down, pinch up, and roll. So you can see again, I'm squeezing, and when you remove the dowel rod, it has a curl. Pinch up and roll. Now we're going to take the thinner ones and use our purple 1/8 inch dowel rod. Pinch up and roll. Thank you all for joining for a very Merry Makers weekend here with my friend Forever Petals by Vee in the comments. If you're new to us, let us know where you're watching from. I am in the state of Pennsylvania, about an hour west of Philly and an hour east of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yes, the chocolate factory. We're super excited you're here. Be sure to share to your socials, like, subscribe, comment, hang out with us. We're here to inspire you all weekend long for our exclusive event. Does anybody recall what year we started a Very Merry Makers weekend? I do, but do you? Let us know in the comments. Now we have 3 of center number 3. All we're going to do for these is we're going to take our bone folder. Again, we inked on both sides. Very carefully, I hold a set of 3, and you're just going to curl them. You can do them individually. Just hold them at the base. Believe me, I pulled one off when I was doing it for my sample. So don't stress out. And that's what it'll look like. So we have 3 of these. We're going to do that to all 3. Linda! Bingo! You got it right. We did have a Very Merry Makers month, but we didn't actually have exclusive templates that month. But 2022 was our first official year for that. Oh, see, I just pulled it off. So all we're going to do is you add glue to the tip. It's because I had that large coffee. Why did I go? We'll hide that, so don't worry. It's like little spider plants. You don't know your own strength until you go to curl paper or ribbon. Pull the curl. You can do all three at once if you want to. These are delicate, so I did choose just to do one at a time. All right, now we can assemble our girl. We already did our center number 1. And now we're going to start with our larger petals. So you're going to flip these over and start with your larger. I'm going to take 3 of our petal number 1. Excuse me. And set them to the side with our sepal. Okay? So layer 1 of petal 1 and layer 2 of petal 1. Keep 1 there. We're going to take our second to smallest metal ball stylus, roll right where the petals meet the base. Lift the petals up. Add some glue right in the center. We're going to go right in between our petals. Bring it straight down and place it directly on top. So layer 1 and 2 are rolled, the petals are rolled up, and it is petal 1. Layer 3 is petal 2. All the petals are rolled up. We just need to take our metal ball stylus, second to smallest, roll right where the petals meet the base to lift them up. Add some glue right in that center. And we're going to place it in between their previous layer. Here's your top 2 petals. Look at a petal. Now I'm going to go a little bit off center. It's still in the middle. It's not directly. I kind of went in between the large 2 petals. Okay, we're going to rotate it. Layer 4, we rolled our large petals up and the small petals under. Place it on your flower shaping mat. Roll right where the petals meet the base. Add some glue right in the center on the underside. And I'm going to place that large petal in between the petals of the previous layer. So I'm looking at the gaps on where to place it. Come straight down and press. Okay. Layer 5 is still petal 2. All the petals are rolled up. Roll right where the petals meet the base on your flower shaping mat. Okay. I'm going in between the previous layer's petals. I'm just choosing where I see a gap. And press. Now you can see some larger gaps. We're going to fill that in with our 3 petals. Okay. Now we have petal 3. We had 2 of these, and both of these are rolled up. And we are going to just roll right in the center. Now we cut in between each petal because you can see the difference of the center of each of these petals. So you can either use the smallest or second to smallest, but you roll directly in the center. And what does that do? It makes your center smaller. So you can see how far we cut in makes your center smaller. So you just need to add glue right in the very center. Again, I'm looking for gaps, but I'm mostly going in between the previous layer. So look for your larger petal. Place it directly in the center. I'm going to rotate so I can see some gaps here, and that's where we'll place our next one. But you're always going in between. You're just looking for those larger gaps. Look at your large petal, bring it straight down, right in between. Because there's different sizes of the petals, some of them may stack, and that's okay. Now for our last petals, center 3, we have 3 of those. We used our bone folder to curl them. And we have our rolled center, which is center 1. Okay, all we need to do is roll these right where the petals meet the base. And again, you can see them close in on one another. So this is the one that I glued the petal on, so I'm going to choose one of the other 2. We're going to add glue to the bottom and a little bit around the center, or the flat edge. We're just going to open that up slightly, place it directly in the center. Okay. And then you're just going to fold those petals up. So watch the glue because we want it to stick around our center. So just press to make sure those stay up. Okay. Add some glue. Now we're going to glue it into the second one. Now I'm trying to look to make sure this petal went in between those 2. I just keep an eye on that. Fold them up and around. Huge Christmas flower. He made a huge Christmas flower. If you don't have those templates, run and get them. She made some mega flowers in the past, yes. Glue your next one in. Again, I'm looking at one of my petals and we're gonna place it in between. So this petal went in between those 2. Fold it up and around. Now our rolled center, you could definitely use in Vee's large paper flowers, so you can combine the large and the mini flowers to create one flower, and we've done that in the past. Add some glue, and we're going to pop it in the center here. We're going to press it down to make sure she is secure in there. Now you can open it up a little. But you have the pop of color with our rolled center. Now we can come back and add our 3 petal ones that we set to the side. Oh, she's pretty in this color. I am going to roll with the second to smallest metal ball stylus, which is the larger end, right where the petals meet the base. You're going to flip them over and add glue. Take your flower and we're going to look for these gaps. So I'm going to look here, I'm going to place this directly in between, right in the center. And this petal went in between those 2. I'm going to rotate it, take our next one. With the petals rolled under, you add the glue. I'm going to go in between these 2 petals. So once you start flipping it over, you're going to see how she's taking shape. And I can see we have a gap here, so that should fit right in there. Flip them over so the petals are rolled under. You add your glue. And they're all lined up right there. Now she has a beautiful shape. Always look at them from the side, especially if you're stemming. Now I would stem with the sepals. So like I mentioned, depending on my project I decide on for Sunday, if we stem, I'll just add another sepal. But she's gorgeous. Again, depending on your project, your theme for your flower or tree. We're going to separate our sepals with the petals rolled up. I like to roll where the petals meet the base. Bink. Flip it over. With them rolled under, you add your glue. Flip your flower over. I place them in between one set of petals. Take your second one, flip them so the petals are rolled under. Add your hot glue. Place the petals in between the last sepals petals. I like using 2 layers. And if you add a third, that's completely okay. Flip it over and there you have it. So let me show you in red. If you chose to do a red one, it's just so pretty. And then for the leaves, I brushed on some ink, some brown, darker brown. This is leaf number 2. And then all I did for these is I took my larger metal ball stylus and kind of just colored back and forth. Some of them I went on the opposite side so they bend the opposite direction, but you never want them flat. And then you can just fold them up so it'll never be flat. And then for flower number 1, I inked around all edges with ground espresso. And then on each petal, you add your veining. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to add veining on our petals. Oh my gosh, okay. Now you can see for each of these petals, I added veining, but you actually don't see it as much. I think you're fine either way. With the petals, I did a line down the center, and then you do lines towards the center. And then I went over mine with a metal ball stylus. So let me show you on paper. Oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot to do that. And then I curl my leaves with a bone fold, or not with a bone folder, with a dowel rod. And I did that no matter what the size. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, friends, that is hysterical. I can't believe I forgot. All right, so if you choose to add veining to all your petals, like I did on the red one, that's very bad, poorly drawn. I can draw, not so good there. You draw a line with your embossing stylus down the center. And then you start at the base and add an angle. And then I come down the opposite side. So you're adding veining is what we call that. Number 1, add ink. And then number 2, add veining. Oh my God, don't follow my own directions. So that you're using the embossing stylus. So down the center, go down. I did that to all the petals on the red flower. Then I went over it with the metal ball stylus, following the same thing. I usually just color over it again. So it'll add some texture. Either way, completely up to you. Oh yeah, that would be gorgeous, Lorena, in that tree. Yeah, and my client, she uses teals, silver, and gold on her tree. So this will be, I have a crystal vase, so I'm thinking of doing that. If not, I'll use the red flowers for a project. But so pretty. This is a lighter bluish teal from one of the Recollections packets. Vintage photo. For red, I use ground espresso. So that is our flower number 1. Now we're basically just going to take the center for flower number 2. So as a quick little filler flower, especially on your smaller projects, we can use this one. And I have a bunch of them cut. I We're going to use the darker color. So this is a darker color, and I got this one from the boutique. So it is the darker teal. It is in multiple packs. This is just one I found it in because I needed more for my client. So we can use like the two different shades will be pretty together with the silver and gold. So flower number 2, again, is basically taking our center and just adding just 2 more layers. So center number 3, this is all it is. You're going to cut 5 of them at 3 inches wide. Again, I have this project set up for you when you purchase the template. Center number 1 is this. You're 2 of them at 7.69 inches. Again, it's all set up for you. And then center 2 is our sepal. You just need 1. So I'm not going to show you the inking. I pre-inked these because these are darker colors. All my petals and sepal, I use ground espresso on both sides. Okay, for our center, while this was on my Cricut mat before I peeled it off, I brushed on some vintage photo. So just like we did previously, we're going to curl this with a bone folder. So keeping them stacked, take your bone folder and curl it. So a lot of times I'll get inspired when I'm designing a flower, and I have no flower designs in mind when we design our templates. Then I just sit and look at the shapes and try and figure out what I kind of want it to look like. And then I get inspired once I make one of them to create maybe a filler flower or a second flower, or third or fourth. So just curl this with your bone folder. So again, it's like curling lashes. Take one of them. Again, the side we didn't ink on is facing towards you, and the curl is facing towards you. Excuse me. Thread one end into the slotted quilling tool. Okay. And you can see I put it on my index finger. I'm right-handed. Roll it towards you. I press when I roll. I'm not sure why. Those very first few rolls. Then carefully hold it with your left hand. Add some glue. Okay. Keeping the right edge aligned, roll it towards you. So again, this part is all the same. And actually the size of those petals are exactly the same as our larger flower. So we're just extracting part of this flower to create a second flower. How's that for technical terms? Roll it towards you. And just like we did before, we're going to add some vintage photo. Brush it all on. Now I did 5 layers. You can do more if you choose, if you want it a little bit larger. The more layers, the more fuller your flower will be. Okay, once I have some vintage photo on there, I'm going to go in and add some ground espresso. And I am going almost to the base. Thank you so much for joining with us today as we kick off a very Merry Makers weekend with Forever Petals by Vee and I. Our templates are available in each of our Etsy shops, so you can find Forever Petals by Vee, the large template version of 5 in her shop. And then I offer the mini flower version, which are machine cut files. And me, I believe you do provide a PNG with your version, so they can be machine cut or hand cut. I'm adding a bunch of red. Now you squeeze, you can get some on the inside there. Okay, and then we're going to come back through with some brown. Sometimes I have a heavier hand when I ink, sometimes I do a little bit lighter, but I'm trying to keep them, the coloring the same. Okay. And now we're going to take our second center, add enough glue to make one rotation around. Mine will probably be a few. Okay, go to where your last one ended, overlap slightly, roll it towards you, keeping that bottom edge aligned. Secure the end with hot glue. I don't know why I'm getting congested. Okay, now we're going to come back through and do that exact same technique with the vintage photo. You do want to go down pretty close to the base for this one, just because this flower could open and you would see down towards the base. Okay, let's get some red. Again, you could use some teal, blues, whatever you want, silver or gold, or use a completely different color and not ink at all. I am definitely an inker, and I will enable you to ink. And I think most of us, a bunch of us are inkers now. We just enabled one another through the process. Definitely makes it stand out. And then we're going to add some ground espresso again. We're going to tone it down. Sorry, Nathan. You can start to see the blending of the colors. A little look. Press it down a little bit to create a bulb shape. So it's not the palm press. We just press it down with our finger. We're going to put our lids back on our ink. We're going to curl our petals with the bone folder. Now, we could add veining to each of the petals, but to stay consistent with my blue, I'm not going to. Oh my goodness. We're going to curl with the bone folder. I'm going to do each petal at a time. Oh, see, I did it again. Pulled one off. We're going to glue that back on. You don't know your own strength, friends. That way you don't have a steady hand. These little ones are hard to glue back on. All right, we're gonna let that one dry. And we're gonna, I'll stack 2 this time. And we just make our way around, curling them with our bone folder. This one is fast, so if you weren't inking, you would ink around both sides. You can knock these out pretty fast. So if you're using the silver shimmer paper, some gold. And I actually love the red and the teals together. Not normally my color combination, but I think it's gorgeous. I don't know if I can use red though for my client. Okay, we're just going to stack these and curl. Curl, we're just curling. Hey, Grace, welcome in. We're so excited you're all here again. Forever Petals by Vee is in the comments. We are back live tomorrow, Saturday, November 29th. We're starting off here on my Facebook, my YouTube page for Template 6 Mini Flower, followed by Forever Petals by Vee. And we have Florist the Explorers for his first live back on Facebook tomorrow at, I think, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. I'll be posting that to remind you all after we're done here. So for our center 2, which is our sepal, I didn't create any sepals. We're just using different petals or center as our sepal. We're just going to curl this with our bone folder as well. We're keeping it super simple. Again, we just use part of our first flower to create a little filler flower. It's very kind of peony-esque, but it's not a peony. Okay, now all we need to do is choose one of them. We're going to roll our centers. Where's our smallest? Second to smallest metal ball stylus. Roll all of them right where the petals meet the base. Oh, it reminds me of a spider plant for some reason. Doesn't it? Add glue to the bottom and along the flat edge all the way around. Has anybody listened to some Christmas music? I was listening to Michael Bublé's Essentials Christmas, which was actually really good on Apple Music, while I was inking petals. Fold them up and around just like we did when we were creating our center for our first flower. And this one we're just going to create from the center out the entire flower. Add glue. And again, you're going to keep an eye on one of the petals. Open it up. I looked at this petal right, oh my God, here. And if you pull it back, it goes in between those two. Fold it up and around. We add our glue. Now you can start to add them from the back. Look at a petal and look where there's a gap. That petal went in that gap there. So then you just fold it up and around. Now you can add as many layers. Again, I chose 5. If you want it larger, you certainly can. So we're just going to look at these 2 petals. Just make sure it doesn't move because sometimes they will shift on you. And this petal went in between those 2. Fold it up and around. Add some glue. I'm going to look at these 2. And we're going to put that petal right in between there. Boop, right there it went. That one went in between those 2. Fold it up and around. And now we can just attach our sepal. So the sepal will be attached up. So in the center, add your glue. And then I'm adding glue out each petal. Just a little bit of a line. If it's only halfway, that's okay. Place it directly in the center. And then if we stem this for our project, we'll just add another sepal. That's all. Ooh, Vee's tree is decorated and movies are on. I love it. So you can just press it down. And now you have a nice little filler flower to go in between your other larger flowers. Again, you can add more layers. And here's my first one. It's not as closed up. I probably opened it a little bit more. So whether you like it in red or teals. And then you have your leaves. Now my leaves I cut in the color that I used for the red. The red is from Printworks DIY, their Christmas paper pack. So we have a nice variety of shapes in our leaves and our flowers. And that is Template 5 Mini Flower from A Very Merry Maker's Weekend 2025 Mini Flower Bundle. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I can't wait to be back tomorrow to kick off day 2 of A Very Merry Maker's Weekend right here on my YouTube channel. And don't forget, the replay is available when you access our channels. You hit the live tab, so it is saved on Forever Petals by Vee, and it's also my tutorial saved here. I'll be making a playlist to make sure to add it in there, and any other details in the description of this video. And the projects are all set up when you purchase my template, and there's a 10-page document explaining all of that, a PDF one. If you have any questions at any time, please reach out to us. We're super excited to collaborate once again for our last collaboration of 2025. And we will be back tomorrow and look forward to hanging out with you again. Thank you so much, my friends, and we'll talk soon. Bye.